pleasantest of Mike's duties was visiting the occupational therapy porch. The children who could leave their beds spent many happy hours here, hours that helped them get over the shock of being separated from home and family. And while Mike seemed to play with them, he was carefully observing them. A big part of a doctor's job is to know what's going on in those little heads. And gradually, he began to know more about himself and what he wanted to do in medicine. He envied his colleagues who were completely satisfied with their careers. Like Jim Gleason, who could talk forever about the advantages of working with children, about the important research work still to be done in the field. Mike listened and agreed. He liked his work, but he felt it wasn't what he really wanted to do. As usual, the philosophic discussion was interrupted by duty. The call was for Mike, from the admitting clerk in the emergency room. It seemed routine, and Mike expected to be back in a few minutes. Throat's pretty bad. Not much fever, but I don't like her extreme weakness. I think you'd better wait upstairs. We'll have to make tests before we know anything definite. Will you show them the way, Miss Abbott? I'll be with you in a little while. Her throat is almost black, and the swelling up there at the angle of the jaw. No, Kate, I'll try not to hurt. I know you feel pretty awful. I just want to see how your tonsils are. You'll be feeling better very soon. Masks, Miss Grant. All contagion precautions. Don't we look funny, Kate, all dressed up? No, not that. We'll take cultures first. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I know what we've got here. Now, this will be over in a minute, and then we'll take you to a nice room. All for yourself. I know your tongue hurts. I'll try not to touch it. There. Good girl. Miss Grant, call the chief. Get these to the lab. And I want diphtheria antitoxin. Yes, diphtheria. Your little girl's pretty ill. Of course, we're not sure yet what it is, but we're doing everything we possibly can. Tell me, did she ever have diphtheria shots? Why, no, I don't think so. You see, we moved here from out of town last June. Kate did well up here. She only complained about her throat Sunday night. We thought it was tonsillitis like she had last November, but it was different then. She had a terrible fever. Well, that's why we weren't worried this time. Do you think it's diphtheria? It might be. We'll know in a little while. You'd better wait there in the next room. We'll bring Kate upstairs now and get her comfortable. Diphtheria. That's what Alice Cannon's kid died of. It can't be diphtheria. The resident and his assistant are always on call for emergencies. They agreed with Mike. It looked too much like diphtheria to take a chance waiting for culture reports. Antitoxin was definitely indicated. No, I mustn't think of that. It can't happen, it can't. She'll pull out of this, please, Lord. We've always tried to give her what she needed. This is the world Mike chose for himself. This is medicine when the going's hard. The art that is based on science. New victories over microbes. But would the antitoxin work? 4 days is too long in diphtheria. Steady, Dr. Mike. This is the time to keep your mind on the job. The truth always hurts. Yet not telling is even crueler. We're pretty sure it's diphtheria now. We've given her an injection of antitoxin and some medicine to stop her pain. She's more comfortable since we put her in an oxygen tent. Don't worry, that's just to help her breathe easier. The thing we're most worried about is her heart. It's under great strain. It's the usual thing for the staff to have a cup of coffee down at the nurse's station after night rounds. But that night, the resident had to pry Mike away from the child's bed. Mike hardly seemed to be in the room. The resident kidded him and scolded him, but nothing worked. Mike couldn't relax. It was this race against time. A couple of days sooner, and it would have been another story. You're wanted right away, Dr. Marshall, 422. Will you come along? I'm afraid this is it. This is medicine, too. Pediatrics? Why pediatrics? It only makes it that much harder when you lose. Catch it early. This isn't early enough. Bad news. Her heart failed. I'm sorry. Excuse me, doctor, you've got a new admission. Infant's ward. Sure you feel licked, Mike, but you never had a chance. We got it too late. You can't hit yourself for that, son. You lost one, but you'll save hundreds before the year is over. Look at it that way. You did your best. Isn't that enough? But it wasn't enough for Mike. He finished his training in pediatrics, working in the clinics and the wards, learning more and more about his young patients, being able to help them more and more. But his mind was made up. He would not open an office and treat sick children as Jim Gleason was going to do. Pediatrics wasn't to be his lifetime job. Somehow he'd probably get involved with kids, but he still had to go further to find his true place in medicine.